Grant was genuinely a unique person. I have never met anyone like him before, and I very much doubt I will ever meet anyone like him again.
To say that Grant Thompson was an inspiration doesn't really do it justice. Grant managed to touch the lives of so many people and help so many people in ways that we're still learning about and still hearing about. He was an inspiration, and he was a friend.
Grant was an inspiring guy. He had such a unique outlook on life, and he always looked outside the box when coming up with new ideas for the channel.
One thing I'll always remember about Grant is his desire to always make you feel valued and let you always know that you were doing a great job. At the beginning of every single team meeting that we had, without fail, he would go around the room, he'd point out every single member of the team, and he'd tell you something that you were doing that was great, something that he felt you excelled at. It was the best thing because you always knew that Grant appreciated the work that you did, and he was thankful for the effort that you put in.
First, I would like to start by saying thank you, Grant. Thank you so much. There was a time when we spoke in the internet during my interview. He made me feel like his friend, like his colleague. And that made me happy.
Hey Grant, I know you are probably watching it somewhere up there, and I just wanted to say that you are the best boss I could ever ask for, and you have created something amazing, and you also allowed me to be part of it, and I could not be more grateful for. You were not just a boss, but also a great friend full of kindness.
Grant was, and still is, one of the most incredible people I've ever met, and I'm lucky to have been able to consider him a friend and a hero and a role model and a mentor, and his guidance and his friendship and his counsel will be sorely missed.
Last December, Grant asked for my mailing address out of the blue, random. But after a few weeks, I got a Christmas card, and it's the first card I've received in years. It was from Grant, and it's a handwritten message saying that he's thankful for having me as part of his team. He thanked me for the passion and the sense of humor that shows through the videos, and it's something that he didn't have to do. He didn't have to go into so much trouble for, but he did, because that's just how he is. He's just a kind-hearted person, and it just shows you how he genuinely, cares for the people he's around.
Working for him has been a blessing on my life. He's always pushed me to be a better me and a better videographer, which I've always appreciated.
Grant and the King of Random changed my life. For many years, I've been hustling, working as a freelance videographer and editor. And the King of Random is my first ever full-time job as an editor. He gave me so much room for opportunity and improvement.
Obviously, the impact he's had on my life has been incalculable. My life now is vastly different from where it was 2 years ago, and it's because he believed that I had the potential to, well, originally to be a good assistant for him. My job, originally he wanted me to help him prototyping projects, building those out, and very shortly after he hired me, he realized that what he actually wanted was to spend more time with his family. And he was even on the verge of shutting the channel down, but we came to the decision that he would be interested in trying having me on as a host, and fortunately he had enough faith in me to let me keep going despite how robotic and wooden I looked at the beginning. If you check out the first videos I was in, there was a lot of staring straight ahead and not interacting with what was going on around me, but he believed in me enough to let me keep going to the point where I could smoothly talk to a camera and to you guys, the fans, and to everyone who may be watching. And I can't even say what the effect on my life has been, because it's not over, it's ongoing, and it will keep being an ongoing thing, possibly for the rest of my life.
Probably one of my most memorable experiences with Grant was a company retreat only a few months ago. He decided to take the whole team on a hike, and we'd been down south, South Utah, and there are beautiful slot canyons there. For those of you who don't know what a slot canyon is, it's kind of exactly what it sounds like. It's this little crack between two cliffs, and sometimes the spaces are big and wide and beautiful, and sometimes you're kind of wedging your way sideways through them. And we're trekking along, and there's several of us, and I remember at a certain point that I was getting a little claustrophobic, and the walls were pressing in around me, and we're all just in this line, just everybody just walks in a line until you get to the end and you can climb out. And I remember thinking, I don't want to go this way anymore. So I looked up, and you could see the blue sky above the red rock, and so I basically looked at everyone and I was like, I'm going a different way. So I just took off and I climbed, and I probably got about 20 feet up before I just hear Grant laughing beneath me. And all the guys, all the crew was just like laughing and like taking pictures and joking about it. But pretty soon I realized that Grant is not just climbing with me, he is surpassing me. And everybody else kept walking the other way, and we probably climbed 40 feet up, just in these little slot canyons, the two of us, just the two of us. We climbed to the top, and we beat everybody else up there. And he was just so happy and so thrilled. And we get to the top, and he turns and he looks at me and he says, "That's what we do. That's what this is all about. We make our own path." And that's what he did. Grant was all about pioneering and finding new ways to do things, life hacks and curiosity experiments, and just if there was something he didn't understand, you know, he was gonna find a way to learn it so that he could do it and then teach it to others. And that, to me, was the biggest inspiration he ever gave me.
Grant's biggest desire of the last year was to build something that would last long after he had stepped away, and he did that. Grant, I can promise you that our team is going to do everything we can to carry on your legacy and share with the world the passion and creativity that you had. You did a fine job. You've made something to be proud of. Love you.
So Grant, thank you very much for the opportunity, and I'm so used to doing several takes. If I ever have problems with my words, I just do it again, we cut it. I'm not sure if we're doing it this one. Thank you for the opportunity, the chance to be where I am, to do what I do. This is phenomenal, and I'm so glad that you were able to achieve your goal of spending more time doing what you wanted, being with your family. It's really a glorious thing that it was able to happen. Like always, you had a vision, you put your mind to it, and you made it work. That's how everything went with you. As far as I can tell from talking to everyone who's ever known you, that was how things went. Vision, plan of attack, complete. In that order, every time. We're gonna miss you.
Nate and Calli are such amazing people as well, and he knew that. He found them, and they were perfect replacements when he was wanting to retire. And even though he's not here anymore, his passion and inspiration will always stay, and I'm excited to see what the future has for us.
I just want to say thank you again. My family wants to say thank you, especially my little boy. He always watches The King of Random. So, goodbye for a little while. We'll meet again in a better land. See you again.
You can be sure, man, that your legacy is left in really good hands, and I miss you very much and love you. Thank you for everything.
We'll make sure that we'll do our best to continue to make videos that we're proud of. Thank you, Grant, and talk to you then.
But I know he is flying higher than he's ever flown before, and I can't think of a place he would be happier.
There was a saying that we shared that if I don't know how to do something today, give me a day and I can do it tomorrow. And that and the fact that we make our own paths, those words will stick with me for the rest of my life, and I can never thank him enough for that. So thank you, Grant. We love you, and you are going to be so missed.
With this one simple trick, you'll be able to take any bottle of soda and pour out an instant slushie on command. Now, if you don't believe what you're seeing, that's okay, but it is real, and in this project, you'll discover the insanely easy secret to making an instant soda slushie. For this project, grab a bottle of room temperature soda and start shaking it violently. We want as much pressure to build up inside as we can get. Now I've done this with these 500 milliliter bottles and set them in the freezer for 3 hours and 15 minutes. This is the point when they're colder than freezing, but not actually frozen. Now you can show your friends that it's just a normal soda, but watch what happens if we simply release the pressure, tighten the cap, and turn it upside down. In just 3 seconds, the entire bottle is turned to an icy soda slush. Pour it in a glass and you'll get a good idea of how thick the slush really is. And when it starts pushing up at the top, you can see it's a light and fluffy, delicious carbonated ice. Now let's try removing the pressure very slowly. This is going to take a bit of patience, but when you get the cap off, you might notice your soda didn't freeze. If you pour it into a frosty bowl that just came out of the freezer, it'll ice up right before your eyes. There's one chilled soda ready to be served. You could try keeping your soda liquefied by pouring it in a clean bowl, then freezing it by dropping in 1 flake of ice. These crystals will grow rapidly until your entire bowl is filled, and now we have another chilled soda ready for your enjoyment. On a bigger scale, like in a glass, you'll notice that the crystals collect at the top. To get them to spread out, just take a spoon or a straw and give it a little swirl. You should see the whole drink quickly ices over. Now, if you're wondering why this works, it's because the liquid is super cooled and actually wants to freeze. It just needs some help getting started. Now, this works with every soda and every sports drink that I've tried because it's the water in the drink that's actually freezing. As the ice forms, the syrup gets trapped between the ice crystals, so the slush keeps its flavor. If you try this yourself, keep in mind that every freezer is a little different, so just play around with the time it takes to get your best results. I tried super cooling canned soda and found that they work as well, but you have to release the pressure very, very slowly or they'll ice up in the can. When you do get them open, you'll see the trick works exactly the same as the others. Well, now you know how to super chill your favorite soft drink and master the art of the 3-second slushie. If you like this project, perhaps you'll like some of my others. Check them out at thekingofrandom.com.
Next Tuesday, you should be on the lookout for new content. That's when we're going to start putting up new videos again and returning to your more normally scheduled King of Random to continue on Grant's legacy.